that's there. So Judith, I've got you, Judith, partly as just under the name of the book because I wasn't quite sure where you fitted in everything. But Judith is the mum. The photo's not very high res. Sorry. But Judith is mum of one of the boys involved with the Hidden Voices Speak book. And as I said, I haven't had a lot of time to get to know you. So, oh, why am I spotlighting? And I did spotlight the right person. Goodness me, really, all fingers and thumbs. So, very nice to have you with us, Judith. It does say your bandwidth is low, so hopefully it'll hang on until we can until you're done.
Okay,
Um,
let's just
yeah,
give me a signal if you can't hear me.
yeah, you're
No.
breaking up a little bit,
Oh,
but
really?
persevere,
Okay.
persevere. Yeah.
So yes, I am mum to Ben, who's one of the children who has produced this amazing, quite thick book called Hidden Voices Speak. Ben's just having a bit of a rest this weekend because they've been really involved in everything over the summer. And he was at the House of Lords on Tuesday, which was a very full day. So, yes, he sends his apologies. Could I try without the camera? Yes, sure.
Yeah, that'll work.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yes,
should
it is.
help a bit without the
Oh,
video.
great.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, his apologies. He was very busy this week. Um, so yes, what would you like me to talk a bit about our home educating journey or about the bill or about
Yeah, well, whatever. I'm putting up the image here, so it's got something for people to look at. Um, just tell us a little bit, yes, about how how you came to home education and what the impact has been for your family.
lovely. So, I mean, it always strikes me strange that people talk about home education as the thing, in a sense, because all parents are home educators. The first place that children are educated for everybody is at home. Um, and so that's very much been the case for us, that it's not really a thing, it's just we never stopped. So, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, brilliant. Um, so yeah, we were just home educating as everyone or the majority of people do when their children are very, very young. And then some friends of ours discovered the concept of home education. And so our sort of hang out in the park groups became home education groups. And we went on trips and did stuff. And the children were educated in the way that most children of preschool age are. And then when he got to compulsory school age, he did nursery. He didn't hate it, but he didn't get anything from it that he wasn't already getting. And so we just carried on home educating. Um, and his story of learning to read was very much what Harriet was talking about earlier. He had no interest in it. He was, very into language and books, but no interest in reading for himself. Until one day he just read an entire chapter of Harry Potter aloud with the voices as part of our bedtime reading. And now he's 14, so he's just about to start what would be thought of in school as his GCSE years. He's no intention to take them early, but he has already got 5 GCSE set texts under his belt just because he likes them. So yeah, in that way, we probably fit a lot of the research on how home education often happens.
And what would you say, what have been some of your aha moments in home education?
Oh, what a great question. I think a
Anything that
lot of it's
stands out for you?
I think a lot of it's been retrospective in the sense that at the time it's just been normal and, just living life. But then the other day, a friend, home educating friend who has a younger child, asked me, well, when did you start maths? And I said, I have no idea. I remember him being very into maths. I can remember him strongly at 6 asking to be asked sums on the bus every time we got on the bus. The whole time we were on the bus, I had to ask him sums. And I remember him when he got to long division and long multiplication, enjoying that spatial element. And again, if I had to do something, he wouldn't ask to be on a screen. he'd say, Mum, can you write me some problems before you do your call or whatever, so that I can do them. So I suppose the aha moments has been that there were no aha moments in a way. It was all just completely normal. But when you look back, you think, isn't that extraordinary that I can't tell you when we started maths?
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. And I mean, I've met Ben, and he is a lovely young man, and real credit. Um, and what made him feel so strongly about things that he, he and Addison decided to get this book done.
Well, Ben's very into politics, and
Uh-huh.
he has been for years. We spend hours debating
Mm.
the various sides of politics. And I'm quite on the left, but my brother is on the right very much. And so he's always had quite a, I guess, holistic understanding of actually you need a bit of this and a bit of that. We need a bit of the idea that we all look after each other and a bit of the idea that everyone takes responsibility for themselves. We need a balance. So he's always been fascinated with politics.
Yeah.
And so when the bill started to be talked about, he said, well, can we read it? And so, we sat down and read all the sections that sort of related to home education. And he said, but this is going to be a problem. How are they going to establish that? Um, this seems like it's going to affect some groups more than others. That feels a bit discriminatory. And he sort of couldn't quite believe that this was how legislation could be drafted. He thought, well, this doesn't really make any sense. And so I think Michelle and some other people, I think you were also there, had organised a protest, and he and some of his friends went along, and some of them gave speeches. And I think Addison will tell you much more about that later on.
Yeah.
But then Addison came up with the idea to make a book, because he said, well, even from the few minutes that we're allowed to talk, no one's really going to understand what home education is. And I think this is really what they felt, that clearly whoever wrote this document has never met a home educator and doesn't understand how home education actually works. And he was really thrilled. He was thrilled with so many of the speeches that have happened throughout the course of the bill being in the House of Lords. And actually, I wanted to say to Lord Way, Ben asked me to say to him at the debate in July, every time he stood up, he just wanted to clap. So I think he's going
Oh,
to write to him.
well,
But
if
so many of
yeah,
them have
if you
given.
want, I can forward that on to him if
Oh,
you
I
as
would love
well. If you
that.
want to
Thank
put,
you.
you can send that to me privately in the comments, and I'll just copy and paste it to him.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
I'm sure he'd love to hear that. It's
I'm
just so powerful when it comes from the kids, though, isn't it?
like all these things, isn't it? It's just when you hear it from the mouths of babes, it is clear. And what was really lovely actually on Tuesday is we heard from Baroness Morris, Estelle Morris, who obviously used to do Bridget Phillipson's job under Tony Blair. And she was saying this exact thing. Who is going to be assessing these home educators? If it was me, and I mean, this woman is incredibly humble. I really love that about her. She said, if it was me, I wouldn't know how to do it. I have a very particular view of education. And so who's going to be assessing it? Because home education looks completely different to school education. And that speaks to what Harriet was saying earlier. Really, if the intention is to make sure that all children have a good education, surely we need the research on what does pedagogy look like in a home educating context. And even from the safeguarding angle, you need to know what healthy home education looks like to
Yeah,
know what it doesn't look like, to know when, in the few cases, that there is genuine neglect.
yeah.
And it's
And
good that that's coming. It's even now coming from the government side of the house. But, it feels like they're maybe starting to ask these questions late in the day. And I think, the question of training, I mean, educationally, Lord Hacking put it very powerfully with regards to safeguarding. All of the reports that they're totally ignoring say not that we need more data, not that we need to find the children that need to be helped, but they all very clearly say children who need to be helped are already known to services. The problem is those services don't have the resources, the frontline workers don't have the training, and that's actually what causes these tragedies. It's absolutely
Yep.
nothing to do with being
Yep.
home educated or data or anything like that, as we
Yep.
all know.
Yeah. They think it's going to help them find more that aren't there. But if they're not even dealing with the ones they do know about, then that's a problem. And I wanted to just ask you, just looking at your own family, your own journey, looking at Ben, under this bill, um, how do you think it will impact you as a family?
Very good question.
Yeah, if this
Um,
passes, how do you think that's going to play out for you guys?
well, something that Ben has raised a lot, which is very much his concern, is that his data will not be safe. That this isn't just a list of everyone's names and addresses, and we can debate whether that's the most efficient way to know where all the children are, and probably not. But even if it is, that's one type of register. But a register that has this incredibly wide remit of things that you have to provide, then in addition to that, the LA can ask for anything else they want. And in addition to that, the Secretary of State can ask for anything on top of that. You have potentially a huge amount of incredibly detailed, incredibly personal data, which amounts to, my child is going to be with these three friends at this location studying this at 2 o'clock, and then he's going to walk along a road to this location at 4 o'clock with these friends. I mean, given the the leaks that we know about, and they happen, big leaks like the legal aid leak, um, and also frontline workers, potentially disclosing information that they shouldn't be disclosing, as Lord Hacking spoke to. That's a huge amount of data. We already know so many mistakes are made, but we've never had that much data for mistakes to be made with before. And
Yeah,
I wonder if the government has really thought through, or if either side have really thought through that amount of data. Each extra piece of data represents an extra risk in terms of data protection. And how confident are we that that risk is not going to make children more at risk of harm? I think it's a really serious question,
yeah.
and I don't know it's been taken seriously enough.
Yeah. Well, the thing I find, but there are a couple of things that I really, really object to. The one is that the education, if I make use of anyone to provide education to my children, that I've entered into a private contract with, I am paying them, that they would have to hand over information. And the other is that they're lowering the threshold for sharing data to promoting welfare rather than being at risk of significant harm. And those are the ones that I feel are particularly harmful. So because Ben couldn't join us, I've said to Jo Merritt that she could also join in the conversation and at this point, and I'm going to actually add the spotlight, Judith, because I don't really want to lose you from the conversation.